Hello then, welcome to VOP Politics right here on VOP TV. My name is Esther Wachuku. On VOP Politics, we discuss and analyze trending issues in the political arena as well as other sectors that impact daily existence. However, let's take a news overview on issues across the polity. We begin with the chairman of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, Rivers State Chapter, Chijioke Ihuo's apology to President Bola Tinubu over what he described as an unguarded speech during a rally organized to support the state governor, Siminalayi Fubara, on December 22, 2023. VOP Politics gathered that Ihuo gave the apology on behalf of the Rivers youth and made clarifications during a press briefing. The chairman of the council disclosed that the youth were in support of Tinubu's administration and voted massively for the president during the last presidential election. He explained further that the rally was not sponsored by the Rivers state government against the president as being insinuated in some quarters. In another development, the Ondo State Acting Governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, has been sworn in as the substantive governor of the state on Wednesday evening. He succeeds Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, who passed away in the early hours of Wednesday in Germany while on medical vacation. The Chief Judge of Ondo State administered the oath of office to Aiyedatiwa during a ceremony held shortly after the news of Governor Akeredolu's demise broke. This development comes just hours after reports emerged that Aiyedatiwa would be sworn in today. The state had been in a state of anticipation since Governor Akeredolu's health condition took a turn for the worse in recent weeks. Aiyedatiwa, who previously served as deputy governor under Governor Akeredolu, is expected to address the people of Ondo State in the coming hours. Now, the All Progressives Congress in Ebonyi has zoned the Southern Senatorial District ticket to Onitsha local government area of the state. This was contained in a statement signed by its state chairman, Chief Stanley Okoro Emega, among other state working committee members. The zoning of the Senatorial District ticket was sequel to its return election fixed for February 2024 by the Independent National Electoral Commission. The seat was recently declared vacant by Senate President Godswill Akpabio after its former occupier, Chief David Umahi, resigned to become the Minister of Works. This decision by the party remained a threat to the ambition of Umahi's younger brother, Austin, who recently declared interest to contest the rerun. Austin was the Director General of the party's campaign committee in the last general elections. The party in the statement said it was threading the path of equity and justice with the zoning of the senatorial district ticket to Onitsha local government area of the state. Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration will not rest on its hours until victims of the gruesome attacks on communities in Barakanladi and Bokos local government areas of Plateau State get justice and the residents are safe. The Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, gave the assurance when he visited the crisis-ravaged communities in Plateau State to condole with the people and state government over the recent killings in Barakanladi and Bokos local government area of Plateau State. Vowing vehemently that the killings on the Plateau and other parts of the country must stop, the VP, in a statement by his spokesman, Stanley Umocha, stated that now, please accept our heartfelt condolences, accept our deepest apologies, because we won't rest until you access justice and until you are safe. Meanwhile, Senator Kashim Shettima informed the people about how heartbroken his principal, President Tinubu, had been since he received news of the gory incident, saying the president is deeply shaken by this tragedy and shares in this unspeakable sorrow that has shattered the joy of Christmas across the country. And now to some foreign news bits. Israeli forces pounded central Gaza by land, sea and air today, and Palestinian authorities reported a dozen more deaths, including 20 in one attack. Reflecting Israeli resolve to fight or rather wipe out Hamas despite international calls for a ceasefire amid a humanitarian crisis, Israel's military chief Herzi Halevi disclosed this on Tuesday that the war would last many months. He added that there were no shortcuts in dismantling a terrorist organization. The Gaza Health Ministry statement revealed that an Israeli airstrike killed 20 Palestinians on Wednesday near the Al Amal hospital in Khan Yunis in the southern Gaza Strip. there was no immediate comment from the Israeli military. Now, a telecommunications outage in much of the enclave hindered efforts to reach Palestinian casualties overnight, but was gradually coming back online at mid-morning. In central Gaza's Al-Maghazi district, 5 Palestinians were killed in one airstrike, medics disclosed, while to the north in Gaza City, health officials stated that the bodies of 7 Palestinians killed overnight arrived at Al-Shifa Hospital. It is quite unfortunate that we're seeing killings across the country as well as internationally. The Gaza-Palestinian war, as well as the Gaza-Israel war, as well as what is currently ongoing in Nigeria. It's quite unfortunate that it seems Nigeria is not a war zone, but it seems incidents occurring in the country seems warlike. I don't know how the federal government intends to handle the situation before it deteriorates more than this. However, we'll be looking into more of these critical security concerns across the country and other political breakbacks that have occurred ever since developments took place for 2 days now. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. This is still VOP Politics on at VOP TV. So I would implore you to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Voice of the People TV. Across our social media handles, it's at VOP TV Live. My name is Esther Umachuku. We're still in the holiday season. It's still the Yuletide period. Today is the 27th of December, 2023, and it's a Wednesday. So I can tell that there's still this relaxed mood in some areas across the country. A lot of people have traveled to go see their relatives, and I would say for the rest of this week up until possibly next week, they'll be with their relatives while they return back to the thriving city or the various cities where they work to earn their income and resume the hustle as usual. However, we will be here to give you information, to give you details, and to give you perspectives, or rather intellectually edify you on some current happenings in the country. Once again, welcome to VOP Politics. Unfortunately, the governor of Ondo State, Governor Akeredolu, passed on earlier today. Apparently, sources disclosed that he died in Germany, and it was due to prostate cancer. Now, the situation, as you do know, what transpired in Ondo State was that Mr. Akeredolu had traveled to Germany earlier in the year, and he was there for 3 months. Due to this illness, there were speculations that it was a brain surgery he went for. Others said that it was a serious treatment he had to go through, and at the time he handed over to his deputy Lucky Aiyedatiwa. But in that process, Ondo State still had a leadership tussle crisis. Lucky Aiyedatiwa complained that the people of Ondo State weren't giving him the opportunity to be the leader as he ought to be. They rather still tried to possibly control him through the aides of Governor Akeredolu. At some point, he said that he was not the one signing official documents in the state. Rather, it was the aides of Governor Akeredolu that were signing some of those documents and telling him to present it like he was the one who signed it. And so Lucky Aiyedatiwa complained that he felt inept and redundant because he couldn't do the needful as he ought to do. At the time, he wanted to sack some employees or some aides under Governor Akeredolu at the time, but you know, he seemed to be handcuffed. He really couldn't do anything. And then, fortunately, Akeredolu returned, assumed office, and then there was a power tussle between him and Lucky Aiyedatiwa. At the time, he wanted Aiyedatiwa to be impeached, but that did not work. Then, of course, he cut down his accessibility and his means through which he could have a sense of control in the state. And later, we saw him, withdrawing appointments on some persons who were working for Lucky Aiyedatiwa. It was quite a dramatic turn. And later again, he fell ill. And even after that, he couldn't hand over power to Lucky Aiyedatiwa because, again, there were some personal interests or personal reasons involved, just like it is in this part of the world when it comes to political handover. Anybody who is a governor or possibly a president and they seem to be physically incapable to be in charge, if at all they need to hand over to their vice, they really put restrictions. Sometimes they don't want to. It's almost like they want to have the autonomous decision to make, whatever decisions they make for that particular state. Thank God the Constitution says you're running on a two-person ticket. So without the other person, your ticket is completely null and void, or your governorship administration or presidential administration is null and void. You have to work with whoever it is you run your ticket with. And that was how the president intervened in Ondo crisis, told the governor to commence on a medical leave as soon as possible and let Lucky Aiyedatiwa take over the mantle of leadership in Ondo State. As it stands at the moment, Aiyedatiwa was not even around. He had to cut short his trip when he was called in to be sworn in immediately after the passing of Akeredolu. However, may his soul rest in peace. Ever since his passing, a lot of political stalwarts have reacted, and he was not alone. He was not the only person who actually passed on today. We've seen persons like Peter Obi, the president himself, and other state governors actually give solidarity visits, give their own emoluments, commiserating with the loss of Akeredolu, who passed on. And so that has basically been what the prominent headline across several news platforms today. Once again, we do say that the soul of Akeredolu rest in peace and find his bearings in the hands of our Lord. Now, let's move on to the situation for this evening. We are starting off with the former spokesperson of the defunct New People's Democratic Party and All Progressives Congress chieftain, Eze Chukwuemeka Eze, who said that the Federal Capital Territory Minister, Nyesom Wike, is no longer relevant in the politics of Rivers State and Nigeria at large. Eze insisted that the dream of Wike to become the Jagaban of Rivers is actually over. He argued that the people are now aware of Wike's tactics and those who choose to work with him do so at their peril. He made this statement on Tuesday, and this was via a statement which he released through one of his aides. Eze is alleging that President Bola Tinubu and his team strategically plotted the peace accord to rubbish Wike's plan to become the Tinubu of Rivers State. The former PDP spokesperson argued that it is impossible for Tinubu, a known Democrat, to turn his back against the Nigerian constitution and good people of Rivers State just to massage Wike's ego. Eze insisted that Tinubu was aware that no reasonable governor would implement any of the conditions in the peace agreement. The politician warned Wike that Rivers can never be Lagos, adding that his recent actions bring to an end his dream and vision of becoming the landlord of Rivers State. So to talk about this and more, unfortunately, I actually have only one person to analyze today on VOP Politics, my partner, I would not say partner in crime, but my partner in good deeds, and that's Peter Anosike. I actually had a guest who was to join us virtually. Unfortunately, due to let me not use the word unforeseen circumstances beyond his control, he can no longer connect to be part of the program this evening. I do hope he does join us later on. Okay, so my guest is Peter Anosike. Peter Anosike is a political and social affairs commentator. He's an economic strategist, a philosopher, and author of one of the best-selling books in Nigeria. Currently, he's also on another intellectual spree, writing another well-exposed secrets to how, well, let me not spill it out, but I want you to anticipate that. Peter Anosike, welcome to VOP Politics. I've let the cat out of the bag.
That's one of the things that we don't do in writing.
Oh, really?
You don't tell people, it's not like building a house. Architects always say that I'm building this house. Engineers, I'm constructing this road. But writers keep it to themselves what it's out.
Well, I'm excited. I had to say that. I'm so excited. If you've read the first book, I think you understand the reason why I'm excited for this one. Mr. Peter Anosike, would you agree with Eze concerning the fact that Wike wants to be the Jagaban of Rivers, just like Tinubu is the Jagaban of Lagos State, and that his machinations to achieve that has failed?
I agree with the first one wholeheartedly, 100%. Okay. But the second one is what I'm not really sure of whether it has failed or not.
Okay.
Wike wants to be the... Wike has Tinubu as a mentor.
All right.
So he was very, very excited with what Tinubu has been doing since he was out of government.
All right.
He was happy with what Tinubu was doing since he was out of government.
All right.
Tinubu left power in 2007.
So what had happened?
And have been producing governors up till now.
Now, okay. But that is not the case for Wike.
Wike want to do the same thing.
But it's not working, isn't it?
Well, for now, we don't really know because he has 27 House of Assembly members loyal to him.
All right.
And what I read today is that the governor has secretly paid the emoluments of the 27 lawmakers for November and December.
Wow, lawmakers who defected.
Yes, that is what I read today. So
how is that possible?
So if it's true, it means that Wike is still winning. Understand me?
Okay.
Then for saying that no governor can implement such.
Okay.
On Sunday, the governor said that he's going to implement those things. But we are waiting when he will tell us that he's going to represent a budget that he has already signed into law.
All right.
To the 27 House of Assembly members,
okay,
which is unconstitutional.
All right.
We are still waiting to see when the chief of staff that has resigned will come back and still retain that chief of staff position.
All right.
We are still waiting to see when those commissioners that voluntarily resign will come back and continue with their positions.
All right, okay.
So then we will now know that he is not implementing those what he signed.
All right.
So, but for trying to be the Jagaban of River State, that's been in Wike's mind for long. Wike is a born dictator.
Wow.
Understand? Wike is a born dictator. But whether it will work is nobody knows that because Rivers is more complex than Lagos State.
All right.
Rivers is more complex than any state in the southwest.
All right.
Because it has multi-ethnic communities. Understand?
All right. Hold on, Mr. Peter Anosike. I heard that my guest who was to join us virtually is in at the moment. Barrister Justice Uhegbu, please indicate if you can hear me. Good evening. Justice Uhegbu, please indicate you can hear me. Unmute your audio on your device so I can hear your response. Hello, are you there, sir? All right. Apparently, there seems to be a glitch in that regard. Continue, Mr. Peter Anosike.
So, River State is more complex than Lagos State. River State is more complex than any state in the southwest. So you can do anything in Lagos because and get away with it. Understand? Because it's a kind of a homogeneous society, unlike in River State, which is understand me. So it's not going to be very easy for him in Rivers.
All right. Mr. Justice Uhegbu, Barrister Justice Uhegbu, kindly unmute the mic on your device so we can hear your response. If you can hear me, unmute the mic on your device. Unmute the microphone on your device so we can hear your response. Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Barrister Justice Uhegbu, for joining us.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Absolutely clear. I can hear you. I can hear you, sir. Can you hear me? Okay, Justice Uwebu is actually very far at the moment. He's in the east. I think he's one of the people who travel to go enjoy the Yuletide season. Unfortunately, I think we are having network glitches. So, Mr. Peter Anosike, we would have to continue with you until we establish a proper connection with Barrister Justice Uwebu. He is a human rights lawyer, an activist, National President Association of Good Governance. He's a vice presidential candidate, NAC Party 2019 presidential election, and he's a national secretariat symbol of Hope Foundation. He'll be in a very good position to help us dissect some of these issues, specifically with the political dimension in Rivers State, and possibly give us a prediction on how futuristic leadership in Rivers State would actually go. Also including our justice system, what's been going on in our judiciary, and the lack of trust between the people and the judiciary with the current ruling so far. He would have been in the best position to help us speak on this exponentially. Mr. Peter Anosike, let's come back to Rivers, because the president himself as well has he reacted to the broadcast of Fubara, and this is what the president said. He responded to the Rivers State governor addressing the political conflict with the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. He expressed his gratitude to Governor Fubara for opting for peace over confrontation following a meeting with Nigerian governors in Lagos. And also, this was shared via the president's official X handle. He acknowledged Fubara's commitment to peace, emphasizing that effective governance thrives in an atmosphere of tranquility. Tinubu emphasized the commencement of governance under his leadership, attributing its success to the pursuit of peace. And he conveyed his appreciation, thanking him for his statesmanship, saying that he listened to his live broadcast on Christmas Day, emphasizing on the resolution that was agreed on in Abuja when he visited, and said that peace is the only effective way through which governance can thrive, and that governance has commenced in earnest under his watch. However, this response highlights Tinubu's recognition of the importance of maintaining peace for the successful implementation of governance initiatives during his tenure. So, the president has congratulated Fubara for emphasizing and reiterating on the agreement that they had in Abuja. You do know that we had a lot of people who disputed Fubara's signature to that resolution. Some of his aides, especially the media aides, said that Fubara did not consensually sign. He used a black biro rather than the normal red biro, and this sparked conflict. Others said that decision was imposed on him. So Fubara had to come out and reiterate that indeed he willingly signed that. So the question is, would we say that the president is now deeply in control in Rivers politics, beyond the fact that he's the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
Well, for me, when we are talking of peace, we should also be talking of justice.
Okay.
Because peace without justice is peace of the graveyard. When we are talking about peace, we should also be talking about constitution.
Okay.
Because without constitution, a country does not exist. Or a country takes its birth, its authority from the constitution. And the things that happen in River States runs contrary to our constitution. The 27 lawmakers that defected, and Tinubu asked them that to go back, is not what our constitution said.
Okay.
Or to continue coming to the, or continue making laws for the people of River State. It's not what our constitution said. So as it's talking about peace is important. Without peace, there would not be development.
Okay.
But without justice, there cannot be peace.
Okay.
Without justice, there can never be peace. So as we are talking about peace, we should also be talking about justice. We should also be talking about the rule of law. And the rule of law, as I said here in one program, is what separates a human society from an animal society. Anywhere that law does not exist, it becomes a jungle. Therefore, the things that happen in River State that runs against the constitution of the country must still be addressed.
Okay.
Otherwise, it will leave a very big vacuum, which will also cause trouble in the near future. Because if those 27 lawmakers still retain their position, it's going to serve as a negative precedent.
Okay.
Tomorrow, other people will also want to decamp and also want to retain their positions.
Okay.
Because they will say that some people decamped in River State and they still retain their positions.
Okay.
So, for me, we should follow what our constitution said, that those 27 lawmakers have lost their positions.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to Plateau State. Plateau State is in the news because of the recent massacre that took place in about 17 communities in 23 villages. So far, the death has risen to 190. Some news media houses refer to about 200 deaths recorded. Vice President Kashim Shettima visited Plateau State today, along with the National Security Advisor DG Nuhuru Badu. Caleb Muftwang was also there, and a couple of other top political stalwarts who visited the area. And then in reaction to the entire ordeal, basically, the president has said that those who perpetrated this heinous crime should be apprehended as soon as possible. He asked the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs to send relief materials to the families of the victims, that is, families of those who were massacred, specifically in the communities that were affected. Now, Dachong Bagos, who is a former member of the House of Representatives, he expressed his perspective on the recent massacre that occurred in Plateau State. And now you do know that after the ambush in Barakalandi and Bokos local government areas, a lot of people are actually talking about it. So he reacted by questioning the essence of security presence when there is no justice. He maintained that there are proofs and facts about the military ID cards that the perpetrators dropped in the course of the attack. Now, in an interview in a Monitor television program, Dachong Bagos said, because what is the essence of security presence when there is no justice? We have proofs and facts of military ID cards that these perpetrators came with. At the end of the day, they dropped these ID cards. So here again it is. Caleb Muftwang, the governor of Plateau State, also affirmed that those who attacked the communities were military fatigue. So the question is, what is going on? Are they trying to implicate the Nigerian military to be those who massacred innocent citizens in the villages? The Fulani has supposed the Fulani militia wore military fatigues to carry on this dastardly acts. And even while you try to run and you think you see a military person to help you, instead the military person you saw is there to machete you. That's the question we're asking. Now, this is what a lot of critics believe, that there is a systematic, deliberate religious and ethnic cleansing in Plateau State. This was actually stated by Barrister Eze Eluchi. He said, regardless of how Nigerians want to put it, this is a deliberate mechanism to cleanse out these communities. Now, the question is, why? We talked about it yesterday on the program, the root cause of the Plateau State crisis and what role the Fulani plays and what is the cause of all this. Now, Muftwang seemed underwhelmed or overwhelmed, and critics believe that whatever it is he's saying, he doesn't truly believe it, because he was in Lagos with the president celebrating the Yuletide season, drinking and dining and whining, while the residents in his state were crying and moaning, grieving the loss of their loved ones. Mr. Peter Anosike, what's your take on this?
Well, for me, the vice president, that because before the vice president came to Lagos for the Christmas distance, that thing was happening already.
Oh, yes.
And if it's where leaders cares for their people, he will have cancelled whatever he is doing and go there. His presence would do a lot of wonders. He goes with security. Understand? Showing concern is even far more than the relief that they are sending. Understand? but you've already gone and enjoyed your Christmas.
Yourself.
Now going to just has become an afterthought. Let them don't say that we did not show concern.
Sir.
Okay, sir, I'm going there. So, but military fatigue is not difficult to get.
Okay.
Understand me? Military fatigue is not difficult that to get. Military ID card is not difficult to forge. So some people might use all these things just to implicate the Nigerian army. Then, what is the essence of dropping their ID cards? Understand me?
Yes.
What is the essence of dropping their ID cards? If those ID cards has pictures, it means that they are either implicating themselves or implicating the people that they forged their ID card.
Okay.
So for me, it is not enough to say that it is the military that came on that thing.
All right.
I say that the Fulanese have entrenched themselves in the state. They are now occupying some communities, so it is very easy for them to mobilize, attack, and go back to their different communities. And no police would dare go there to arrest anybody. Because all of them are armed with their AK-47. If an ordinary Nigerian is seen with an AK-47, it becomes a crime.
It's a big crime.
But if a Fulani is seen with AK-47, it becomes a tool to defend himself, because the argument is that wild animals attack them in the forest when they are going with their cows. Therefore, they need something that to protect themselves. So, but it shouldn't be an AK-47. Even if it's AK-47, there should be an authority, a license. But those people that are carrying those AK-47 don't even know where to go for a license. So they have become, that's a very rare species, untouchable. They can do anything and get away with it. So what the federal government is doing is just face saving.
All right, Mr. Nosiki. Dr. Betta Edu is a Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. She made a revelation today, and she described the situation in Rivers State as senseless, horrendous, and inhuman.
Rivers?
The situation, not in Rivers, the situation in Plateau State.
Yeah, sure.
She explained that the ministry would be unrelenting to ensure that every Nigerian and all parts of Nigeria experiencing humanitarian crisis are catered to by the current administration, and basically referring to the massacre that transpired on Christmas Eve. She said she expressed utter shock and sadness when she received the news. She referred to the situation as barbaric, horrendous, senseless, and which left more than 100 people dead, injured so many people. However, the president has actually asked her to provide succor and relief to the communities that were attacked. Now, when the president reacted, a lot of critics have reacted. Critics like Mr. Peter Anosike, critics like you have Omoyele Sowore, critics like the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Sheikh Husani, a lot of political stalwarts who are following issues in the polity, or who are being asked about issues in the polity, including Mr. Falana, a senior advocate of Nigeria. And they reacted to this horrendous situation. Now, this is where things get a little bit dicey. These critics believe, because Peter Obi has recently reacted to issues that affect the country, talked about the pains and hunger Nigerians are experiencing. He also talked about the senseless massacre in Plateau State, calling on the president and the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to actually have the foresight to know how they will nip the situation in the bud, while at the same time commiserating with those who were actually affected. He also was able to comment on Akeredolu's passing away. Now, critics believe that Peter Obi is acting more presidential than President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And, there is a comparison between the two men. Now, others feel that Peter Obi is more on a spree of reacting to anything, and rather he shouldn't react to anything. He should have people or spokespersons who can speak on his behalf and not literally be everywhere, as already the Supreme Court has affirmed Bola Tinubu as the president. Others feel that Peter Obi is acting in the capacity as a true opposition, and that is what the role of the opposition ought to be, reacting to issues that affect the people and actually put the government, the current serving administration, on their toes. Now, the question is this, Mr. Peter Anosike. Is Peter Obi acting more presidential than Bola Tinubu?
Well, some people have compassion, some don't have. But Peter Obi, we know, has compassion. He has feeling for the suffering masses. And this can, and again, some people can afford a lot of media aids. Peter Obi, since 2040 today, has just one Valentine. Understand? So he's not used to thousands of people following him. He's a very frugal, very prudent person. So when an issue happens and you keep quiet, it doesn't show. Albert Einstein said that it is not those that destroy, that commit evil, that destroys the world, but those who see them and keep quiet. Understand me? So Peter Obi, one, he's in the opposition, and again, he feels he's a Nigerian. Number one, he's a Nigerian. Number two, he is in the opposition.
Okay.
So he is wearing two caps. He is speaking for himself, and again, for the party that he is representing. Peter Obi is holding the mandate of the obedience. People are looking up to him. During the 2023 presidential election, he has millions of Nigerians as followers, most of them youths, who want to take after him tomorrow. So they are studying him. So if things happen and he did not react, people may be reading him wrong.
Okay.
So for me, he is doing what he is supposed to do. Every leader must be compassionate. And by that, you should show concern, empathy. Put yourself in the shoes of the victims. Put yourself in the shoes of the survivors of the victims. How are they feeling? That will enable you to know how to react. Understand me? So Peter Obi, for those who feels that he is not on the popularity contest, understand? He is doing, this is who he is. This is who he is. He always feels pains when other people are going through pains. And he always reacts, and he has been reacting. And I know that he will continue to react.
All right. I really do wish we'll be able to speak with Barrister Justice Uwebu, but I have not gotten any information yet. He's been able to sign up with us, and that is really unfortunate because he's a very avid, speaker. He knows how to express himself. All right. Apparently, Southern Christian Association has conveyed its indignation regarding the Christmas Eve massacre of numerous Plateau State residents. The The community, you do know, were besieged by armed men during their Christmas preparations. Now, the National Secretary of the organization, Bishop Joseph Ajujungwa, issued a statement to journalists labeling the incident as a massacre to many. He expressed dismay. He noted that the present administration, led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, appeared to be sleeping on duty, while the orgy of killings has continued, as witnessed during former President Muhammadu Buhari's government. He mourned the lack of consequences for numerous similar incidents in the past, asserting that Nigerians were reaching the limits of their endurance. So I recall, I think I had this interview earlier during the World News at 6 on VOP 90.3 FM. And I recall speaking with Barrister Eze Eluche. And my question came thus: where is Sheikh Gumi? Where are the other northern clerics and also political stalwarts in that region, especially in the north? Where is their avid and vehement response or reaction to this gruesome, horrendous killings in Plateau State? Now, there is a pari passu comparison with the reaction that transpired with the Kaduna killing, or rather the Kaduna bombing. Let's use the Kaduna bombing that recently took place about just a month ago, and the recent Plateau State killing. Now, we saw a Sheikh Gumi who came out to speak and say that it was a deliberate attack on the sector people, just like what transpired on Christmas Day. That is what transpired. I think they were celebrating something when that bomb fell into that shelter. Despite the Nigerian Navy giving its explanations as to the kind of error that occurred due to the fact that they thought that there were terrorists in that particular enclave, in that gathering, well, they did not want to hear the end of it. They asked that justice must prevail. They asked that the GOC commanding officer in charge of the unit that mistake happened should be sacked. They also called to question the military chief, and they even said they were going to sue them. These were the kind of reaction we saw. Beyond that, they went to visit these communities. They were able to provide relief materials, financial aid to them. We also had the former SA media to the president on social media. Precisely, his name is Garuba. And Garuba, Bashir, yes, Bashir Ahmed. Is it Bashir Ahmed or Garuba? The man who was responsible for Buhari's tweet account. He was responsible for giving information on former President Buhari's tweet account. I think it's Bashir Ahmed. He was the first person to make a statement concerning the Kaduna bombing that took place there. He has not responded. He has not reacted. He hasn't said anything. It's only Miyetti Allah that has responded. Also, other religious clerics too seem not to have said anything. Very few of them have been outspoken. In fact, 2 or 3 days after the event, this is when we are seeing the Southern Nigeria Christian Association conveying their own plight towards the killing that took place in Plateau State. Mr. Peter Anosike, would you say that somehow some Christian clerics are afraid of saying it as it is happening? Are we going to say that possibly because Plateau State is dominated by more Christians, and that's why some northern Muslims have not really given the comment that they ought to give to push on to ensure that these terrorists are evacuated as soon as possible? What could be the reason why we're seeing some silent body language from some of the stalwarts?
Let me tell you how some people think. When Abionda died in prison, no, when Abacha died,
right.
Abacha died before Abionda. But then the contest was between Abacha and Abionda. So when Abionda died in prison, the chief of army staff then, Bameyi, said, let them balance the equation. Understand me? Since a northerner has died, a southerner has to die too. Understand me? And that was Abionda. Understand? So don't be surprised that some people in the north or some Muslims might be seeing what happened in Kanu as a retaliation of what happened in Jos, in Plateau State, as a retaliation of what happened in Kaduna. Understand me? Some people might be thinking that way. Understand? That the equation has been balanced. Because in Kaduna, it was Muslims that died.
Yes.
Now in Plateau, it was a majority of Christians. So somebody like Gumi, who we all know is whack in thinking, could say yes, that the question has been balanced. What is the need?
Okay.
Talking.
Yes.
But Christian religion is very different from Muslim religion. Understand? I studied the philosophy of religion, so I can tell you that authoritatively. In Islam, politics is mixed with religion.
Okay.
In Christianity, politics is separated from religion. You see it? So that's why they can talk politics in their mosque, but you cannot talk politics in church.
True.
Understand me?
True.
Then Christianity, you are looking at somewhere beyond the earth as your destination. So you are not to live materially, which is different from Islamic religion.
Okay.
So Muslims, the way they will react will always be different from the way ordained Christians will react. Ordained Christians will be more circumspective. Understand? They cannot be too forthright or too forward in reacting. Understand me? So that is the difference. But as of fear, no, we have some vocal religious men in the north, like Sam Palm.
Okay.
Understand me? But we are not really one country, and that's what you are seeing here. Understand me? So when they concern them, they will come out, rant, make noise, make noise. When it concerns other people, they will not talk. So this is a we and them. Understand?
Okay.
So we've been learning about our country from all these negative developments. Understand? Because when that happened in Kaduna, it was on all-out war.
It was.
Understand me?
It was. The reaction was massive.
Massive everywhere.
Everywhere. They were talking
Understand?
about it. They kept on insisting. They asked the president to publicly call those people to order.
Understand?
They said they were going to sue. I mean, I had never seen such collaborative responses towards such a tragic incident. And now, with the Plateau killings, it almost feels like it's even the people who are not in Plateau State who are actually calling for justice. I've not heard some religious cleric address this, which is actually quite weird, especially specifically Christian clerics.
That's what I'm saying. They are not going to be as forward as Muslims. Understand?
Why? Why wouldn't they do that? What are they afraid of?
That's the way you are upbringing. How you are trained will always affect how you respond or react to issues.
Okay, let's stay on with that aspect, because I was thinking that when issues like this happen most of the time, the best thing to do is to address it headlong, not to try to cover it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, you may want to study an event, a development, before knowing the best way to react.
All right.
Now, if you don't, that's when you issue a statement, withdraw, and begin to issue other statements because you were hasty in your reaction. Understand me? Okay, some people who saw the ID cards and the military fatigue may conclude that it was the Nigerian army. Understand me? But if you have the time to study the event, you come up with a more conclusive statement.
Mr. Anosike, The brutal killing of unarmed citizens has become the order of the day in Plateau State, even though the federal government and Plateau State government had set up judicial and administrative panels of inquiry. The culprits that were identified and recommended for prosecution were treated like sacred cows. Now, these are not my words. These are the words of Femi Falana. He's very astute. Like I told you, he said, sometimes he really says it as it is. Now, he went further to say that hence the wanton killing of innocent people and destruction of properties have continued unabated. The casualties recorded in the last 20 months include the following. So he listed, on April 10, 2022, 250 people were killed in a series of attacks in the state by a gang of bandits. The police did not arrest any of the murderers. On May 16, 2023, about 87 people and more were killed, 39 injured during an attack on villages in Mangu local government area of Plateau State. The spokesperson of the State Police Command, Alabo Alfred, disclosed that 7 suspects in connection with the attack had been arrested. However, the suspects were not prosecuted. On October 1, 2023, at least 8 people were killed and 5 more injured in an attack on the Du community of Kwal district, part of the Rigwe chiefdom. The police did not arrest the murderers. And on December 24, a group of bandits killed about 145 citizens and even had time. Now, this is even where it gets worse. They had time to record their atrocities on video. I think due to, for the sake of sanity, we didn't see those videos circulate. I'm even wondering what our security operatives, how they cope. They said the videos were very gory. The media did not let us see a lot of these things. I don't think anyone wants to see the videos. The videos were very gory. They took their time. I said they went to about 23 villages, 17 communities. The attack was sporadic. They kept on going and going and going, and they were recording it. And I think they're happy that we're talking about them in the news, because this is basically what they wanted. They recorded the atrocities on video, and they were the ones that circulated it. As usual, the federal government has condemned the brutal killings of unarmed citizens. The Commissioner of Police, Plateau State Command, CP Okoro Awari, who said that the deadly attacks took place in 12 villages of Bokos and Badakaladi local government areas of Plateau State, and that 221 houses, 27 motorcycles, and 8 motor vehicles were burnt down. Also, in the same vein, the commander of Operation Safe Haven, Major General Abdusalam Abubakar, said his troops had responded to several distress calls during the attacks. In the last 48 hours, Abubakar said they had responded to 36 distress calls from different locations simultaneously. And as they speak, some of their men are in hospital due to injuries sustained in the attacks. But they are committed to ensuring that they put a stop to all criminal activities in Plateau State. So, my question, Mr. Peter Anosike, is Femi Falana gave a historic breakdown of the killings that has been taking place in Plateau State since 2022. First of all, 250, then 87, 145, and these guys took time to record this video. They are languishing in the blood of people, and we are silent on this, and possibly they feel that after 2 or 3 days or a week or a month, Nigerians will move on. Mr. Anosike,
and Nigeria has been moving on. And will continue to move on. So that's why this mandate that Tinubu gave, that the culprit should be brought to book.
okay,
Nothing is going to happen. Understand? Nothing is going to happen. But the main reason why this thing is happening is political correctness. Understand?
yes, yes.
That is the main reason why these things are happening. Political correctness. Governors want to be politically correct.
Okay.
Understand? They don't want to ruffle any feather. If they had started tackling this thing when those Fulanis were coming to settle, it wouldn't have gotten to this stage.
All right.
And that's why Samuel Otom became #1 enemy of the Fulanese, because he did not allow them to succeed in what they had wanted that to do in Benue State. So the #1 reason why this is happening is political correctness. They don't want to ruffle any feather.
Why?
They don't want
to
to
the detriment of people's lives?
That's how they think now. They don't want to be in the bad book of anybody, but to the detriment of their own citizens. When you see an evil happening and you cover it, or you pretend that it doesn't matter, it will grow. It will grow. This thing started in year 2000. That's 23 years ago. That's when the Fulani begin to migrate and settle.
I recall that was there was a state of emergency in Plateau State at the time.
Yeah, sure.
2000, right? I was in secondary school.
Yes.
I recall that school, because I schooled in Lantern, I recall that school did not resume for almost a month. And I was stuck there because it was I think my JSCE. After your JSCE, you stay about a month or two before you're assigned a class. I had just come back to school, but I was in Jos before Presidency Lantern. But the school told us not to come in. I had to stay with one of my parents' family, one of our family members who resides there. And I was in Jos for a month because I couldn't travel to Lagos. The roads weren't safe.
So if the governor then has stand his feet, this thing wouldn't have gotten to this point in time. Understand me? But they, just like go on. He is there, he's alive. I'm happy he is seeing all these things. Go on, evil will be going on. Go on will be saying, let us pray for Nigeria. Let us pray for Nigeria. Prayer does not solve any problem. Understand me? If they had been talking, if they had been standing their feet, this thing wouldn't have gotten to this extent. I'm not a prophet of doom, but within 2-3 months, this one may take maybe 2-3 months because it is massive. Another one will still happen. Understand? Because these people are already entrenched in the state. They can easily go out and come back. They are not coming from outside states. Understand? If they are coming from outside, you can say if you close the border, but they are in the states. Understand me? So, and you cannot arrest them. Understand? So
you cannot arrest them.
Those that they have arrested, what has happened? Understand me? Those that they have arrested, at least when somebody commits murder, you don't keep him in the cell for a month. For what? The evidences are there. Take him to court to serve as a deterrent to other people.
To others, yes.
So when 250 people were murdered, no single person was arrested. And this thing, if any crime is committed, and you don't arrest people within 24 hours, other people that you are going to arrest after are innocent people. That's how it works. Because the people that committed this crime wouldn't be that's at the scene.
True.
Understand me? So, and this thing has gone more than 48 hours. And still, we've not heard of anyone that has been arrested. Okay, the GOC that said that many of their men are in the hospital who sustained wound. How many of them did they arrest? Understand? At least for them to sustain wound, some people must have shot them. How many did they kill or arrest? We don't have that information, which means they are still covering up a lot of things.
It's quite unfortunate. Very unfortunate, actually. So let's go on to Governor Hyacinth Alia of Benue State. He has refuted the rumored rift with the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume. Apparently, Alia described Akume as a national pride and a father of Benue State. Now, he made his disclosure at a symposium in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, to mark the SGF's birthday. And so he gave a lot of thanks and emoluments towards, the SGF, that is George Akume. Now, this is where things got a little bit dicey. The president's wife, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, told Governor Hyacinth Alia that he is safe because the SGF is there to protect him. And when she made that statement, everybody was surprised. Why are you saying that? Now, there was supposedly a purported rift between Hyacinth Alia and George Akume, the secretary to the government of the Federation. But apparently, Hyacinth is saying that there is actually no rift. He cleared that doubt out there. However, the president's wife came to say that the SGF will protect him, so he should not be afraid that the SGF is there for him. Mr. Peter Anoske, what does that mean? I need to understand.
Well, for me, it seems that even as a senator, she doesn't know what our constitution says. Because somebody who finished secondary school is not supposed to have made this kind of a statement.
Okay.
We are running a federal government. Understand? So it is the components part that made up the country. So as a federation, the governor of the constituent parts are executives on their own. They are like the president. So as Akume was appointed secretary to the government of the federation, Governor Andy appointed his own secretary to the state government. As Tinubu appointed his own chief of staff, Akume, the governor has his own chief of staff. So whatever office that the president has, the governor has it in his own state. Understand? The governor is the commander-in-chief, the chief security officer of his own state. The governor has immunity, but Akume does not have any immunity. Understand? The grass-cutting secretary to the federal government was booted off because he had no immunity. Understand? Then now, who is more important? Understand me? Who is more important? As a governor, he is entitled to CON. Understand me? He's entitled to CON. Why, as a secretary to the government of the federation, he can only be given a MFR. So who is more important? So she doesn't understand the workings of the government. After being a first lady for 8 years in Lagos State and being a senator, two-term senator, and also have not been with the people in government. So for me, I'm shocked, I'm disappointed
in
her for making that statement. It is the governor that should even protect Akume. But the truth is that there's a quarrel between the governor and Akume. Both of them were fighting who will nominate the minister from Benue State. That's where it all started. Who will nominate the minister from Benue State? Akume felt that it is his right. Then the governor said, no, I'm the governor of the state. It's me that should appoint. That was the beginning of their crisis. And then last week, the governor said that APC in the state was working against him. Understand? So what governor made there was a political statement. Inside, he did not mean what he is saying. He knows that there's a rift between him and secretary to the federal government. They are fighting who is more important. Understand me? So, but Oluremi and Tinubu made the matter worse by trying to put the governor under the secretary to the government of the federation. Is wrong.
All right, let's look at the president, where there's a trending video on President Tinubu where he gave conditions to those living in Lagos to go to their jungle. And apparently, in the video...
That's an old story now.
Yes, now, but in the video, I'm coming to something. You know, he was actually talking about the fact that if you know you cannot stay on how things are being done in Lagos, go back to wherever it is that you are, go to the jungle, reside there, do what you, but you need to do things accordingly in Lagos State. Now, why I'm making this statement is I'm going back to Plateau State. During the live broadcast, or rather an interview on one of the popular television stations, don't worry, here we'll have live interviews with some of these prominent politicians. Okay, so in one of those interviews, we saw Caleb Mutfwang, who is the governor of Plateau State, because at the time Nigerians were wondering why he hadn't gone to visit these communities, what he was waiting for, because that was the first thing he was supposed to do, right? And then he said that in a state like this, there are ancestral indigenes. That is the people who originally...
The owners of the land.
Owners of the land. Now, it is normal for other people to migrate to that land and want to settle. But how do settlers want to displace originals? You want to displace the original owners of the land by killing them off, because that's basically what he said. So in other words, the Fulanis, or whoever it's, I don't know what...
The Fulanis.
The Fulanis are illegal occupiers. So he said, he made reference to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu when he was the governor of Lagos State, when he made these statements concerning the fact that there are ways to go through and doing things in Lagos. If you want to acquire land, if you want to buy properties.
Due process.
The due process, because you are not the owner of this land. I recall too when Obasa, the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Reps, also reiterated the same thing. In fact, he made a threat and said there will be more to those who are indigents. There will be more access to acquire property or lands to indigents of Lagos State than non-indigents, because they have realized that you are having more settlers than the originals occupying the state. So why is the same doctrine not applied in the north or every other aspect of the north? Because you can't see this take place in Kaduna, you can't see this take place in Bauchi, you can't see this take place in Zamfara. The owners of the land would literally not let any settler be in charge.
Well, if you know the north very well, because I was born in the north.
Okay.
I was born in the north. If you know Fulanis, who are minorities, are now dominating the houses in the north. No. Most of the houses, most of the emirs in the north are Fulanis. Most of the governors in the north are Fulanis. Understand? Because one, they have the means, they have the resources. So this is the edge that they have. So for what Tinubu said when Tinubu made that statement when he was the governor, and I believe in what he said. There's what we call the ethnic consciousness. Understand me? Anywhere you go, you should respect what is obtainable there. You don't change a system that you are not part of. So if there's a law that is guiding a particular state or community, and you go there, you should start obeying those laws. You shouldn't introduce your own law. Understand me? That's what Tinubu said. If you cannot do things the way we are doing it here, go back to where you are coming from. Understand? Obasa own was ungathered statement.
Okay.
And the indigenes are acquiring more properties or having more properties. The settlers are not being given those properties free. They are buying them with their own money. Understand me? Nobody is dashing non-indigenous land in Lagos State. They are paying for it.
Wow.
Understand? So if those indigenes have their money, they can also buy, they can also build. Understand? But it is those indigenes that are selling those properties. So, but anywhere, I say, without rule of law, we will be in an animal kingdom. So anywhere you go, you have to abide by the law that is governing those things. Because there's a saying that God did not only just create the universe, it also created the laws that govern the universe. So for you to be in the world, you should also abide by those laws that govern the universe. So every state has its own laws governing it. So if you want to go to that state and live, you should obey those laws. You should abide by the law of the states. So if you want to settle in Plateau State, you should abide by their laws. But they did not start fighting this in time. But now it has gone beyond them. They're now overwhelmed.
And they don't even have the population anymore.
They may have.
But then why do they seem...
These guys are armed. Fulani herdsmen are armed. Understand? Our borders are porous. Their brothers in Niger, in Mali, bring guns to them. Understand? So, or they have a war advantage over the others.
All right, Mr. Bichanosike, thank you. Thank you so much for being part of VOP Politics. You tried today, honestly. Only you. Well done. They say if you love what you do, you wouldn't mind to give it your all. And I think that's basically what you see here. All right, we'll come to a wrap on VOP Politics right here on at VOP TV Live. My name is Esther Wachiku. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like I told you earlier, it is Voice of the People TV. Across the social media handles, it's at VOP TV Live. To the producer of the show, Esther Uwak, thank you. Well done. You did a good job. The director of the set, Manfred. Audio engineer, Paul. And I think Emmanuel, he's also one of the editors who is ensuring that most of the pictures and videos you see coming in here comes in on time. Once again, thank you for a smooth production. To all of you watching us, compliments of the season. We'll continue to keep you abreast on political issues across the country. To have yourself a wonderful evening.